Hello again, and welcome to Fired Up. I'm your host for the show, Bob Irwin. We are broadcasting from Rigel Studios here in Las Vegas, Nevada. This show is about guns, related political issues, and self-defense issues. The Fired Up is on our website, firedupwithbobirwin.com, and the American Guns and Glory Network. They are also found on YouTube and numerous other media. A new show is posted every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our audio feed is rebroadcast for radio listeners Saturdays at noon on the Nevada Talk Network. You can check out KELY1230.com for a station in your area. If you have a question or comment, you can send a note to me at bob@firedupmail.com or leave a message on my office recorder, 702-257-1060. That's 702-257-1060. I check that a couple times a day. And if you leave contact information, I'll respond back to you, either by email, text, or telephone. There are several hundred defensive uses of firearms every week in the United States, rarely covered by any mainstream media, at least covered truthfully. So we always present a few of those for our listeners' education. Most are good shootings, some are questionable, some are just plain wrong. But these are picked out by me basically because they're educational for people who own firearms or carry firearms for self-defense. The individual incidents are generally adjudicated under local law, so the advice given here might not apply to listeners in different jurisdictions. And stories, as I get them, I often paraphrase them for clarity by translating from police jargon what I call lawyer speak, and if you hang out with lawyers, you'll learn what that is, and regional accents into more standard English. Incidents are reported except the names are omitted. My guest today is California and Nevada firearms attorney Donald J. Green. Don, a bit of your background for any new listeners.
Okay, thank you. My name is Don Green, and you can reach me on my cellular at area code 702-409-8239. My practice is kind of dedicated to firearms-related litigation, assisting people in trying to get firearms when we can prove that there's a problem properly in their paperwork. We have cases before the FBI, ATF. I'm involved in litigation involving firearms both in Nevada and California, and more than likely in Nevada after January 1st, 2020, when some of our new firearms laws come into effect. If you have a question about any firearms or firearms laws that pertains to Nevada and California or federal, you're always welcome to call me. Again, 702-409-8239. And you can generally see Bob and I at most of the gun shows in Las Vegas.
Yep. We will be there at one this upcoming weekend, actually. We'll touch on at the end of the show. But the one this weekend is at the
Pavilions
yes, downtown. We will be there. If I run out of time to say that, Pavilions Gun Show downtown, right near the Rubo Brain Center. If you can find that, you'll find them. This is from WAFB TV 9 in Dallas, Texas, reported on the 1st of this month, 10/1. A resident told police she heard a noise outside his home at 5 a.m. He looked out and saw someone with a pickaxe trying to break into his storage shed. He told police that he then grabbed his gun, went out, and yelled at the person to stop and not come any closer or he'd shoot. The resident told investigators the person then took several steps toward him, so he fired a shot. The burglar then dropped the pickaxe, they'll usually do that when you shoot at them, and ran toward a nearby park. The resident stated that he then fired an additional shot into the night in the direction of the park. That wording will become a big deal in the trial. The restaurant said he didn't know whether he'd shot anyone, so he went back to bed. He got back up around 7 a.m., this is 2 hours later, and thought he saw a black bag in the park. Upon closer inspection, he went over to look, and he discovered it was the would-be burglar's body. The arrest affidavit sent from the suspect's account, the threat of serious bodily injury against him was over when the complainant dropped the pickaxe and ran off. Duh, we're all aware of that. When they're running away without any weapons, then they're running away. Anyway, the resident's wife contacted an attorney seeking advice before the husband called 911 to report that he was the victim of a crime and that medical help was needed, according to police documents. Mr. Green will weigh into that one. The resident was charged with murder in the shooting with a bond set at $150,000, according to the Dallas Morning News. There's nowhere to begin with this one, Don, so I'm going to just preface by saying even in Texas, with very liberal, helpful self-defense statutes, this is a really dicing shooting.
Here's the problem in most jurisdictions, and especially in Nevada and California. In order to assert a claim of self-defense, you assert the claim of self-defense at that moment, not 2 hours later. Second, you assert self-defense when there is a likelihood, a presentation of great bodily injury at that moment or death. There was definitely that at 5 a.m. when the homeowner shot the intruder. The intruder's approaching with a pickaxe. There's no question that there is a serious, immediate threat of great bodily injury with the pickaxe. There is no question that there is a threat of death with a pickaxe. We have a case right now, robbery by nebulizer. Now, when somebody uses the nebulizer to spray into their mouth, you know, that's questionable. But we have that. But is that enough to shoot somebody? The next thing we have is he goes to bed. And at 7 a.m., excuse me, there was the additional shot.
Yeah.
You never shoot when somebody's running away. You call 911. I shot him. I think he's maybe shot. He's run away. Here's his description. He's wearing a black jumpsuit, looks like a ninja. And all of a sudden, I find his body at that moment. You don't go to sleep and say, oh, I think I'm going to get up. And I think there's a bag laying towards the park. And upon closer inspection, it's a human body. I think I'll tell my wife, oh, hi, honey. I think there's a dead man in the park. I think I may have shot him 2 hours ago in self-defense. What does the wife do? She doesn't call 911. She calls the attorney, who tells them, get off the phone and call 911. I've had that before. And they will subpoena your records, because they subpoenaed my client's records, although the intruders were trying to break into his house, and one of them shot a .45 through the door and it grazed my client's head. My client had called me. This was about 3:45 in the morning. And I said, get off the phone and call 911. But it came up, shows the call to my cellular, and then seconds later, it hangs up, and then a call to 911. I wrote in my notes, quote, felony stupid, end quote. Because every CCW class that you've taught 10,000 plus students, correct, over the years?
30,000.
30,000.
Who's counting?
You shoot when there is the threat of great bodily harm or death. You don't shoot as they're running away. Now, if they're running away, and which I've had a case, and they're turned around shooting you as they're running, like you see in the movies, that's a different story, because the threat of great bodily injury or death is still within that purview. But the DA and look at what they picked out. They picked out, quote, from the suspect's accounts, the threat of serious bodily injury against him was over when the complainant dropped the pickaxe and ran off.
As I explained to Don, if you watched last week's show, we had something similar, but I'm reading this and I'm literally can't type because I'm laughing at my computer, that this is in Texas, where you can pretty much shoot anybody for anything. And they arrested this guy and he's in jail, awaiting bail. Don't shoot at fleeing suspects. We're going to have a brief word here from a few of our friends and associates. Don't go away. Freestyle Martial Arts, located at 5693 South Jones, right at the corner of Russell Road. My friend Goker runs that studio. They train UFC fighters. They have classes for children, adults, old folks like me. You can reach them at 702-551-9009. That's 702-551-9009. CCS Gunsmithing is run by my good friend Chris Eifelt. He runs the NRA, Friends of the NRA dinners. He's on Rainbow and Sahara. You can reach him, a fine gunsmith, at 702-365-1732. That's 702-365-1732. Next is attorney Jerry Creed. Jerry, the slide will tell you that he does estate planning and all that, which he does. He's here because he also does firearms trusts, particularly Class 3 trusts. If you own a lot of guns or any Class 3 firearms that you wish to pass on to your heirs, you need to talk to Jerry to make sure your will or your trust is up to date. It changes by the minute. He's at 702-806-7777. That's 702-806-7777. And we are back. This next story comes from Reading.com. A reporter named Elenia Shulman reported on 9/27 of 19, a week and a half ago by today's time, in Redding, California. An incident started shortly before 6 p.m. when neighbors reported a man was fighting with two women in front of a home in the 2000 block of Westwood Avenue. Sergeant Todd Kogel said the 44-year-old suspect was gone by the time officers got to the scene. One of the women he'd attacked told police the suspect had also assaulted her sister and driven off with her sister in the car. So we've got one woman beaten and the other one basically kidnapped. The officers got a tip that the other woman had been spotted in a nearby Wind River gas station mini mart. Responding officers found a man there pointing his handgun at the suspect because he thought the woman was in distress and being held against her will. Reacting to that, the 44-year-old suspect fled the area through some fields. He just left the car, left her, ran off. With the help of a police helicopter and a police canine unit, I always mention the name of the officers. This canine officer, his name is Otto. He was apprehended. Reading Police Sergeant Brian Turum said citizens don't necessarily intervene with crimes that often, but in this case, it was clear the woman needed help. Sergeant Turum added, this is a quote, "If people are good people and they're brave enough to do it and they see something that is clearly amiss, you know, sometimes it happens. We don't want to see it a whole lot because of the times, but crimes go to a level where people feel like they need to react." The first female victim had injuries to her legs and face. She was taken to Shasta Regional Medical Center. The kidnapping victim had only minor injuries and she was released to her family. This 44-year-old the suspect faces charges of domestic violence, assault with a deadly weapon, carjacking, kidnapping, sexual battery, and resisting arrest. That's where Otto came in. An intervening citizen, he has a valid California CCW permit and, in my opinion, acted reasonably given the situation he found in front of him. That being said, this is in California, Don. So where do we go from here?
We have to look at the county. Reading is in Shasta County. It's where Lake Shasta is, next to a dormant volcano. Probably somewhat conservative. If this was in Los Angeles County or San Diego County or Merced County or San Francisco County, you might have a different result. You might have two people in jail. The Good Samaritan for assault with a weapon and display of a weapon in connection with an offense, And of course, you've got the sexual assault allegations against the main victim, the main perpetrator. Now, notice that the 44-year-old is facing charges of domestic violence. It's my understanding that under the California Penal Code, that domestic violence requires a relationship between the victim and the suspect, whether they're married, dating, ex-boyfriend and girlfriend, brother, sister, grandfather, whatever, related by blood or marriage, or ex-dating, ex-wife, etc. So where is that? It's not in here. I think that's important. And that might be part of the defense. Maybe these two women were ganging up on the guy, and he's going to claim that he was only defending himself, and he took the woman to the mini-mart because she wanted to buy some cigarettes. I can see that. Because remember, the police pull up as concerned citizen is got the firearm pointed towards the suspect. But the suspect leaves. Is that or is that not in this report?
Yeah.
That he leaves and runs through some fields, and with the help of the helicopters and Officer Otto, the K-9, which he deserves a medal for this, they apprehend this guy. And the police, of course, in Redding say that, you know, if people are good people, and they're brave enough to do this, go ahead and do this. That's not going to happen in Los Angeles. The concerned citizen most definitely might face a problem, and that's how I see it, Bob. And also, there's two women, and where's the domestic violence? Where's the relationship? And I think that's going to come out in the trial as to something possibly that they were blaming, or were going to blame the suspect.
Pretty cut and dried. I love the story. When I saw this, I sent it to a friend of mine, and he sent me back a picture of a police dog growling with the caption, "Go ahead and run. I love to play." This is a really tough thing. When you got your gun out there, and you have people you don't know at all, and he concludes that basically there's something going on here. This would be viable almost anywhere because he didn't shoot the guy. Anyway, we're going to do a brief word again from our sponsors, and not sponsors, our friends and associates, and we'll be right back. Don't go away. Attorney Don Green, who is a regular on this show, as most of you know, specializes in gun litigation, firearms law, firearms license denials, things like that, and defense in firearms accusation cases. You can reach Don at 702-409-8239. That's his cell phone, 24 hours, 702-409-8239. That's Don Green, attorney at law. And Maggie Mordaunt. Maggie, you can find her to start with by just searching CCW Maggie, M-A-G-G-I-E. Maggie is the firearms instructor extraordinaire. She teaches all sorts of classes. She trains instructors. She teaches at the county range here in Clark County. Great instructor, an NRA certified everything. I've known her forever and ever. You can reach her at 702-375-5900. That's 702-375-5900. And Ricardo's, my favorite watering hole. They're located at Flamingo and Decatur here in Las Vegas, Nevada. The owner's name is Bob, so tell Bob sent you. You can reach them at 702-227-9100. That's 702-227-9100. They have banquet facilities and electronic stuff available for clubs and meetings and so forth, and you will love the food. Battlefield Vegas, the new home for being associated with Fired Up, is located directly behind Circus Circus right off the Las Vegas Strip. It is the most amazing place you will ever find for firearms to shoot in their range. You can shoot a minigun in there. They have all sorts of high-powered machine guns and so forth. At their outdoor facility, they rent tanks. You can actually crush a car with a tank. I couldn't explain this place in the 30 seconds I've given myself here. You must try going by Battlefield Vegas. You will find them at battlefieldvegas.com. And we are back. This last story comes from La Crosse Tribune. A woman named Jordan Vian reported October 1st, 2019, a little over a week ago, in La Crosse, Wisconsin. A local woman was sitting in her living room at 11:30 p.m. Her 4 children were in bed when she heard a sound in her basement. She initially thought it was her dog, but then noticed her dog was in the room with her. That eliminates that for the noise. The woman took a handgun from the drawer and went to investigate, finding a man in her basement holding a rifle case. The intruder tried to give her the gun. She refused it and ordered him to leave, or she would shoot him. That was her warning. The 57-year-old intruder told investigative police that he went to the woman's house to play with her dog and give her the rifle. He claimed he was worried because her husband wasn't home. He added the light by the back door was on, so he took that as an invitation to enter the basement. Turns out the suspect has a prior conviction for 4th-degree sexual assault. That's a misdemeanor, whatever it is, under Wisconsin law, stemming from a case in 2005. The result of this is the intended victim, if the intended victim had not been armed, is absolutely unthinkable. We have a guy with a sexual assault history in her basement in the middle of the night, with the children asleep in the home, finding an adult male in your basement near midnight. The fact she did not immediately shoot him shows tremendous restraint. This guy is obviously a nutcase. There'll be a picture on the website of him. The 57-year-old big guy, shaved head, and I think any normal human being would have shot this guy and will worry about the law later. But, Mr. Green.
Here's another basement case which we had from last week, and it was in Wisconsin. So what is it about these basements? I guess in my 36 years of practice, I guess I forgot about, I'm going over to my neighbor's house to play with the dog and give the wife who's alone a rifle defense. I cannot fathom how stupid that is for a defense. I cannot see a licensed attorney anywhere in the United States asserting this defense, because it's absolutely ridiculous. But let's turn this around and let's put this scenario again at Walmart. At night, when you're coming out with your groceries and someone's walking up to you with what apparently is a rifle case, and you have a CCW, can you then pull out your weapon? Not yet. Where's the threat of great bodily injury or death? But in this situation, this idiot intruder is in the basement of a home where the woman is alone, and the intruder obviously knew this woman and knew her husband because he knew the husband was at work. So I'm going to go play with the dog and give her this rifle, presumably for protection. And by the way, I think I'll have a cup of tea and rape this woman. What about this backdoor light as an entry, as an invitation to enter? It's almost incredible that this man would have said this, but then again, he has a prior conviction. He was probably looking at some opportunity to sneak in. But why bring the rifle case? Why say you're going to play with the dog? That's what's puzzling about this. I think
This one, Don, I'm just to interrupt. It's going to end up like the October 1 shooting. He has obviously got a screw loose, and what we're all going to do is try and make sense out of what he did. And if somebody is crazy, they're actually mentally deranged, you cannot apply your logical thought to it because it won't work.
That is correct.
This is the guy they're trying to get background checks on because he had a mental health record.
Right.
Clearly, and he had a record, of sexual assault, and it's a misdemeanor. This is a microcosm of the big fight that's going on in Congress at the moment. There are people out there who are nuts that shouldn't have firearms, and I think we all agree on that. There should be adjudication.
Absolutely.
A judge, a jury if mandatory, if required, and a look-see before guns are just taken like Beto O'Rourke is planning to do personally, I guess. But anyway, we are getting to be out of time here. I want to remind everybody the Keystone Annual Dinner. Keystone Corporation is a conservative group that I happen to sit on their board of directors. They're having their annual dinner at the Venetian Resort on the Las Vegas Strip. The guest speaker is Trey Gowdy, who you see on Fox News all the time, a ex-prosecutor and been on all the committees and this and that in Congress. A very conservative guy. The tickets start at $175. If you go to www.keystone-nevada, one long word, keystonenevada.com, you will find all the information you need to get tickets. You can check out our recent shows at firedupwithboberwin.com. It contains several dozen of those shows. When you see the show or this show on whatever media you're on, there'll be a button on there somewhere to click subscribe, and you will get a new show automatically every Thursday around 5 p.m. Pacific time. We're on YouTube at the moment. We're on the American Guns and Glory Network and all kinds of places I never knew we were on. So, and I want to remind a little bit ahead that in a week and a half, on the 19th and 20th, there is a gun show coming up at the Pavilions downtown near the Ruvo Brain Center. We'll hit on that again next week, but it's a week and a half from now, basically. And Don and I will be there. If you have questions, I'm almost at every major gun show in Southern Nevada, so people can ask me questions they don't want to put in an email, which usually is something like,
That's true.
I have this World War II explosive device that's a big rocket and it's sitting in my garage, and what should I do with it? How do I register it? That kind of thing. The quick answer is you call the fire department and say, help. Anyway, please forward these broadcasts to your friends. And lastly, our logo merchandise, my orange camo shirts and books and hats are available at Battlefield Vegas. They're located just behind Circus on the Strip. And they have all my stuff there. You can buy right over the counter. Don't forget to check out our radio version, KELY1230.com. Thanks for supporting Fired Up. Don, thank you for being here once again.
Thank you, Bob. It's always a pleasure.
Have a good afternoon.